in terms of the trans conversation, no matter how messy or sloppy or, and we leave that in the film. There's a bumbling nature to some of the questions I get around to asking Harper. All of that is okay. Just start talking.
What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
I'm nervous and anxious. Like, you know, I love these kind of places. You know that I spent my life driving back and forth across the country, going to little towns like this, stopping in bars, drinking, meeting people. But I just don't know if I can anymore.
Anyone who knows Harper knows how much she loves taking these cross-country road trips. But she had lamented the fact to a friend that, you know, now as a trans woman, she was thinking differently about what that would entail. And I said, well, last night I just kind of came up with this idea. I don't know if you would indulge me in it, and I'm not trying to exploit our friendship, but what if we took a road trip where I could, you know, ask you all these questions that I have and what it means to our friendship.
And Harper, why did you want to take part? What did you want to get from it?
Well, I had said no, and then I went back to my home in New York, and part of the reason, probably the biggest reason, I guess, I'm very hooked into what's happening with the trans community, and there's a lot of bills and legislation being offered up across the country in many different states that were sort of restrictive of our lives. And so I don't know, at some point I sort of thought, I have this great opportunity with a really beloved movie star. But then Brad Pitt said no.
Right.
And then I
left that part out. It was,
yeah.
I pitched it for Brad and Harper to
yes.
drive together.
And then I chose Will Ferrell, and no, then I found I just thought it could be useful in some way. Were you a little worried about how to talk to me when I came out to you?
Yeah, probably a little nervous.
There are no ground rules with friends, I'm telling you. I invite any friend of mine to ask me these questions. I am not afraid to talk about them.
There's a question. Do you think you're a worse driver as a female driver?
One of the scenes in the documentary was when you were both dining at this big Texan steak ranch in Amarillo in Texas. And you show in the documentary some of the negative commentary that appeared on social media afterwards. And you said, Harper, those tweets are in my head.
Yeah.
What kind of effect do those tweets have on you?
Those sorts of comments, they don't roll off, I don't think, queer people, and it's not just a trans thing. It might not, I think anyone who's felt disenfranchised or marginalized, those things can hurt more. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not hurt so much by that stuff now. I've been out for 3.5 years, but yeah, that's torturous to go through that for many years.
And you, Will, got upset because you said you felt guilt, in a way, for taking Harper to that place.
Yes, yeah. In the aftermath, I had felt like I had, put my friend in a situation that we really didn't need to be involved in.
You will know that there is a lot of negative commentary, social media, for people who also argue for single-sex spaces or fairer sport for women and girls. People like J.K. Rowling get death threats and rape threats, thousands of them, she says. Is there a way of taking the toxicity out of these conversations, do you think?
Sure, there's a way, but yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a way.
How?
There's a way. I mean, you're asking me to walk into a hornet's nest there. That's almost a gotcha question. I'm not going to comment on sort of toxicity on either side. I don't engage in it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about the politics in your country in recent weeks and months? A poll of 120,000 Americans by AP at the time of the US election found that 55% of voters said support for trans rights in government and society has gone too far. Does that chime with your experience on the road?
I think there's a lot of fear and unknowingness going into this. So what are they afraid of? What is that poll? How are they asking that question? No, I've driven across the country by myself since the documentary. I talked to lots of people across the country. I don't believe that. I understand that I've been voted against on some level, but trans people have not been beloved by any administration, this one or the previous one. So, but I feel in my heart of hearts that in general Americans are kind, and so that doesn't mean there aren't bad people. I mean,
I think in our experience of, traveling on the road for 17 days, and yes, we're not blind to the fact that there is hate out there, but it's much harder to hate up close. And when we really settled in with people and they got to meet Harper, and we really kind of just had a cup of coffee. There's a lot of space for conversation to happen out there.
How do you view the prospect of Donald Trump moving back into the White House when there were adverts for the Republicans in the US election? One particular Trump ad was, "Kamala is for they, them, President Trump is for you."
When I think about the trans story, it's a long march. I'm a minor or minuscule part of this battle and this history. People before me have gotten it to a place where I can enjoy my life. I think there's a lot of fight left in the queer community, whoever is sitting in the White House.
Mm. What is it that you want people to take from this documentary?
I hope people take that the idea of being trans is a joyful one.
Mm.
It's that there's nothing there's nothing sad or traumatic about it or anything. It's quite joyful.
And the pursuit of your true self is a joyful one.
Yes. I started trying to imagine other names. I was thinking chandelier. And then I go, Harper, you love the name Harper. My mother went to school with Harper Lee, the woman who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
Right.
When I said it, my whole body felt warm.
Wow.
And I was like,
So you literally had a visceral reaction.
I did.
Advocacy for a friend, regardless of what they're going through,
Yeah.
is a huge theme in our film. The other thing is, no matter, in terms of the trans conversation, no matter how messy or sloppy or, and we leave that in the film, there's a bumbling nature to some of the questions I get around to asking Harper. All of that is okay. Just start talking.
Yeah.
That's it.